extraordinary time. We hear from the book of Job. Job is a reality book. Job faces reality head on. He describes and declares emphatically, life on earth is drudgery. Life is a struggle for all of us. None of us are exempt. Job describes his own life as unbearable, as being assigned months of misery, without hope or happiness. We all can be in Job's camp, can't we? It's hard not to be struck by the grimness of Job's plight. After all, there's a string of losses in his life. He lost his wife, his children, his property, his possessions, and even his health. It's only human and natural to feel overwhelmed, overburdened, overworked, to be devastated, disillusioned, despondent, and depressed. Nights are long, and they even bring him no relief. Days are short. When we reach for the end of them without hope. During this global pandemic year, the whole world shares a motive of echoing Job's lamentations and complaints. The miserable drudgery of unchanging days, restless nights, the desolation of the loss of innocent lives, of irrational tragedy. Job bemoans his fate and his misfortune, his tribulations and his trials, his difficulties and his sufferings, his losses, and he continues to search for meaning in it all. Job questions, why must the righteous person suffer? That question has reached through the ages. This week I was speaking with a daughter whose mother had a stroke. And her mom was doing rehabilitation on the 7th floor at UPMC Mercy. As I went to see her mom was in the therapy session room. So a daughter was sitting alone in the corner in her mother's room. And I asked her how she was feeling and how she was doing. She said, Father, it's been 28 days in a row that I've come to this hospital to be my mom's sole support person. And I'm dead tired. I wonder how much longer I can take it. I'm at wit's end. But I know I must be strong for Mom. She needs me at this weak hour. I affirmed her that being a caregiver is taxing, demanding, and challenging. It takes its toll on anyone. So if you find yourself complaining about your circumstances or being caught in the thrones of self-pity, try to remember Job's example. You can vent to your friends like Job did to his 3 friends. But we must turn to God as well. Tell him your frustrations. Tell him about the injustices of your situation. Don't hide the way you feel. Don't throw it under a carpet. Continue to ask the hard questions and trust in God through faithfulness and obedience and love, that God will give you the grace that you so desire. May our setbacks in life open us more fully and deeply to be honest and authentic with God. Like Simon Peter's mother-in-law, who is bedridden and feverish, Jesus took her by the hand and healed her. So too we can feel weighed down by the fevers of life, whether it be physical or emotional or spiritual burdens. The word In Greek, kaiathus, immediately, instantaneously, without hesitation. The fever left her then and there. And she began to serve Jesus and his disciples. There is nothing, no illness, no sin, no demon, no death that can stand against him. When it was evening, after sunset, they brought Jesus to all the ill and the possessed by demons. The entire town gathered at the door. St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, said, "We must go out of our door to bring others into the door of Christ crucified and Christ risen, the Paschal door of the Paschal path." What stands at the center of every baptized Christian person? St. Paul tells us today in 1 Corinthians, the need to evangelize. It must be central to our lives. As inheritors of those who have been evangelized, it is impendent upon us to evangelize. Through sharing our intimate friendship of Jesus in prayer each day, every person who comes in our path, we should say, how can I bring that person to Christ today? The next person, Mother Teresa says, is the face of Jesus before us. That gives us an opportunity to proclaim the good news of hope to a waiting world. St. Paul says, "Woe to me if I don't preach the gospel." Rising the next day before dawn, Jesus went to a place of solitude to gain strength in a deserted place, to be alone with the Father and to pray. Simon catches up to him, and upon pursuing him and finding him, he says, "Everybody is looking for you." Would that they be saying that of us, that they're looking for us because they find Jesus in us. Can you imagine? Jesus had no rest. Throughout the Gospels, Jesus was traveling from town to town, person to person, place to place, healing the sick, casting out demons, preaching the good news to all who would listen, who were open to his message. Jesus' mission and message is simply this: nothing is impossible for those who truly love and trust God. To those that he heals, Jesus says repeatedly, time after time in the Gospels, "By your faith, you are healed." Faith heals us. We're all looking for something in life, aren't we? We all want to be happy. Jesus knows the truth that everybody means more than a local population or a constricted time. It's the whole of humanity of all times is looking for Jesus. Jesus is on the move. His mission is for the salvation of the world. Although everybody is looking for an immediate resolution to their problems in life, this is symptomatic of our deep longing for happiness and our search for God. In Job's suffering, he finally turns to God. And he finds his answers through patience, perseverance. The only answer to the drudgeries and the miseries that beset our human condition is Jesus. Jesus, upset by everything that depresses the human spirit, boredom, discouragement, loneliness, hopelessness, emptiness, weariness, sadness, being weighed down by worry and fear, are but to name a few. But Jesus is the hope for humanity in every age. He is the hope that we need, for without hope we cannot live. Simon Peter's mother-in-law found the only way to experience full healing is to heal others. After being healed, she becomes an agent of healing. She immediately waited on them. Pope Francis says that the secret of our Christian vocation is to go beyond ourselves and to place oneself at the service of another. A new life, a new town, a new opportunity. When we put our hand in Jesus' hand through faith, and we trust and make a total commitment to being his followers, he will heal our infirmities, our sufferings, and our losses. He invites us to receive his love and his healing power today. As Psalm 147 verse 3 says, he heals the brokenhearted. He binds up our wounds. I close with the wisdom of a 5th century great biblical scholar, St. Jerome. In interpreting this gospel of the healing of Simon Peter's mother-in-law, he writes, "May Christ come to our house and enter in, and by his command cure the fever of our sins." Each of us is sick with a fever. Whenever I give way to anger, I have a fever. There are many fevers as there are faults and vices. Let us beg the apostles to intercede for us with Jesus, so we may come to us and touch our hand. And if he does, at once our fever is gone.